Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a secure browsing environment using VMs, Virtualbox, and Ubuntu Linux. The first thing you'll want to do is go to virtualbox.org, click Downloads, and download Virtualbox for Windows. Then you'll go to ubuntu.com, click Download and install, and then choose the Ubuntu 10.04 LTS long-term support version and choose the 32-bit and click the Start to Download. Okay, these downloads can take quite a while, and lucky for you, I've already downloaded them. So this is VirtualBox. As you can see, I already have some virtual machines already set up. I'm going to create a new one called Ubuntu Sandbox. I'll assign it 1000 megabytes of RAM. That's equal to 1 gigabyte. That's plenty for your browsing machine. I'll create a new boot hard disk. This is the disk that your virtual machine is going to use. It's segregated from your host hard disk, and that's what we want to achieve. We want any behavior, any browsing to be done on the virtual machine and not on your host machine. So we'll go ahead and set it as a dynamically expanding storage. This will create the disk much faster and allow it to grow as it needs more space. Calling the machine Ubuntu Sandbox and assigning it 8 gigabytes of hard drive space is fine. We click Finish, Finish, and now we have a new virtual machine called Ubuntu Sandbox. Okay, we can go to Settings and then to Storage. Our CD drive is listed under this IDE controller. Now these are all virtual controllers and drives, and since they are, we can put either real or virtual CD drives in them. So let's choose a virtual disk drive. Okay, so go to the location where you have Ubuntu downloaded. This is where I have it downloaded. I'll choose the 10.04 desktop i386. That's the 32-bit version. And then we'll click Open. We'll see that that has been mounted into our virtual machine, and we can click OK. And now we'll start this virtual machine. You may get some warnings about the virtual machine capturing your mouse. If it does capture your mouse, you can uncapture it by pressing the right control button. Okay, here we're presented with the option to try Ubuntu or install it. We're going to install it. It has some configuration to do. We'll choose our time zone, our keyboard setup, and then we want to use the entire disk. So arrays can use entire disk is fine. We'll just name ourselves user. We'll choose a easy to remember password for the sake of this video. You may want to choose a stronger password, and then we'll have it log us in automatically. And then we'll go ahead and install. Okay, so now this is the Ubuntu install screen, and this can take a little while, so I'll go ahead and pause the video while this installs, and I'll see you when this finishes. Okay, you should get to the end of the installation and see this screen, and we'll click Restart now. to remove the disk, we can go to Devices, CD, DVD Devices, and then we can remove the disk from the virtual drive. We can then click Enter, and Ubuntu will restart. This is the screen you should see after Ubuntu has been started. The first thing we want to do is install the Virtualbox guest editions. Okay, when you go to Devices and Install Guest Editions, you should see this VBox Editions pop up. If you don't, you may need to restart Ubuntu, and you can go to the power button and click Restart to do that. So, assuming you have this on your desktop, we can go to the terminal. We'll actually have to use the command line. So we can navigate to the VBox directory. And then we'll need to use root privileges to run the VBox Linux editions.run. And then press enter. You'll be prompted for your password. Enter that, press enter, and then it'll install the VBox Linux editions. Okay, once you get that everything has been done and you're returned to a command prompt, you'll restart Ubuntu. Okay, once Ubuntu has been restarted, you should be able to shrink the window or expand it as much as you want. We'll go ahead and expand it up here. There we go. Okay. There's probably some other things you want to do. Configure Firefox how you like it, with whatever extensions you might like. Some things I like to do is change the appearance. I don't like the default skin. I like New Wave. It has more Windows style buttons on the top right. You'll probably also want to change the screensaver. Since this is a VM, you don't really need the screensaver on, so we'll just turn it off completely with these two checkboxes. We'll go to Power Management, make sure that the computer is never put to sleep, and you never want to spin down the hard disk. And then when the power button is pressed, you want it to ask you. Okay. And then we will shut down Ubuntu. We'll go back to our VirtualBox manager. We'll create a snapshot. This takes the exact state of Ubuntu as it exists in your VM. In case you ever do something that may mess up the VM, you can always revert to this snapshot and everything will be just fine. So to give you an example of how this would work, we start up our VM again. We can open Firefox, and then we can browse just like we would on any other computer. We'll need to install Flash. You'll enter your password and Flash will be installed. Okay, with Flash installed, we can watch a YouTube video like we would on any other computer. What this does is anything you download will only go to the VM and won't affect your host machine. This is a dramatic increase in security.